Good day and welcome to the March plot tour. It's a gloriously sunny day, so a perfect day to do this. But of course, with the sun at this time of year comes quite long shadows, so I'll try and avoid shadows where I can. And also, I wanted to do it today because tomorrow, from the 10th, Wednesday, the 10th of March onwards, for 4 days, I think, we're forecast to have really quite gusty, windy, wet weather. At the moment, it's not designated a storm, but by the time we get to tomorrow, the weather that we're going to get could be Storm Everett. So by the time you see this video, we'll know whether it's called Storm Everett or not. Anyway, let's get to the corner of the plot and crack on with the tour. There's quite a few changes this month. Starting at the corner of the plot as usual, not a lot of change here. The only change really is that the cardoons, the flowering stems and the seed heads that had gone over have been removed and put onto our dead hedge. This area is not quite the next area to be sorted. Once we've sorted out the elongating of our long beds, we will be sorting out this area. Hopefully later this month, but maybe into April. We'll see. So along here, not a lot has changed. We've still got all of our compost bags there and the big bag of compost from the really decrepit compost bin that I think we took all of that out about 12 months ago, the one in the white jumbo bag. It was in a pallet compost bin that was completely ramshackle in this area and has been replaced, as you know, with these compost bins. I do need to get on and prune that rose, but you know what, I can do that in a little bit of rain, so I'll most probably get on with that this week. But yeah, this area will be done hopefully soon. Oh look, I still haven't cut back the lavender. I need to get on and do that. And as you can see, the tubs of rhubarb are beginning to grow as well, so they'll be staying in those tubs this year. I may dig a hole and put them in the ground in their tubs for this year. We'll see. That will save on watering. That's why, because these are black, they attract a lot of heat, and therefore that means that there's quite a lot of water evaporation. So if I can get them into the ground this year in a hole in their tubs, it will actually save my time on watering. Right, this is our, what is this? This is our perpetual spinach in this front bed here. And then we've still got celeriac in this bed and more chard over there, which is doing okay. We need to start eating things up because we're going to need these beds. The celeriac will most probably do as chips, or we'll chip them up rather, and then pop them into the freezer and then have them in other things as we go through the year. Nothing in this cold frame as yet. I'm wondering whether I'm going to move this. I think I most probably am. Then our brassica bed. Look at this Portuguese cabbage. I mean, that's just stunning and gorgeous. So the Cavallo Nero, which are these, you can see they're getting shoots on. These side shoots can be eaten. Some call them kale asparagus. So we're going to be eating those, but letting some go to seed. And then we've been having some purple sprouting broccoli. Not done really well for us, though you can see this one has really been enjoyed by the birds. We've got a little bit of purple sprouting broccoli coming in there. And then these Groninger Brussels sprouts will be coming out this week because this is where our peas are going to go in this stretch. So these Groninger will be coming out this week, and obviously all of these at the top will be frozen. Those at the bottom will go to chickens with the roots, and then the stem will go into our compost bins cut up. These are the broad beans, Vivi's broad beans, that we put in on the 1st of January. You can you see that one there? You'll mostly see elsewhere. The one in the middle suffered quite a bit with that snow and cold that we had. Yeah, really quite suffered. Yeah, there we are. And then I'll just come around this way. Our garlic. Look at that sight. Isn't that a fantastic sight? The sun coming through that garlic. The garlic is doing really well. I'll most probably be giving a top dressing with chicken manure pellets again quite soon, and also a weed, because as I've said before, garlic and onions do not like weeds. They like space to grow. Then here we've got our Shakespeare onions, which are really quite erratic in their growth. There's some that are 6 to 8, 12 inches. There's some that are literally just coming through the ground now. I've never had this experience with overwintered onions before. But I have this year. Again, bit of a weed. Bit of a weed needed, I mean. At the end, we've got aromatics, you may remember, of thyme and lavender. And then if I move down here, this one is cotton lavender. Yeah, we love those, especially the cotton lavender. This bed is now prepared. I'm not quite sure what's going to go in here as yet. No, I'm not quite sure. Then this is now a tall bed, as I think you've seen before. So we added an additional decking board on top and filled this with the spent compost from the tomatoes. This is ready for our parsnips and carrots, our spring sown carrots. The autumn king carrots will be going in later in the year, but this is going to be a spring sowing of carrots later in the month. It was prepared, but one of the foxes, not sure which, has decided to dig a nice hole. Hey ho. Right. Oh, let's go, let's move. Get away from that shadow. So this is the big change. This is was the vinyl tomato bed. And as you can see, over the last month, though actually it's over the last fortnight, I have completely forked this over twice, and it's now ready to go for another season of tomatoes. The tomatoes were grown in grow bags last year on top of cardboard. This year they'll be going direct in the ground. What we've also done is moved these blueberries over from where the soft fruit bed was, or is rather, and they are going to stay in this place, as is that apple in the grey tub at the end. That's a Bramley apple, which in yesterday's A Week at the Plot I said was an eating apple, and of course it's not. Next job, I have decided that all of these bed extensions are going to be the same length of bed extension. So you can see I've put out rope all the way down, or it comes out, down that, out that long. So it's taken a lot of thinking about this and a few sort of revelations to decide exactly how I want these. And now I've got it like this, I know I want it like this. So yeah, it's taken a long time to get to this point, but you know what? That's absolutely fine. Right. Bit of tidying in the shed needed. This is the little bed outside the shed, obviously. We've got some oregano here. We've got the poached egg plant that Vivi brought. There's some mint in there, some thyme, some geranium. There's also a sedum in there and a wild geranium. There's also, I've just noticed, a bramble, so I'll need to get that out. And I'm not sure if you can see the growth coming on here. This is a kiwi that I'm hoping will grow up the shed. And our various cuttings of sedums and strawberries and different things. Mesembryanthemum, which is this, which reminds me of Guernsey. It's a lovely purple one. Still haven't got rid of that last bucket of rubbish that I got out of the old vinyl tomato bed, which is now just called the tomato bed. Daffodils coming up, King Alfred daffodils. Then we've got tulips and iris in here. And then over there is additional garlic that we planted up. I don't think I'm going to be able to mend that chair. Yeah, maybe. Don't think my skills go to that quite yet. And this one is getting pretty decrepit too. But I can still sit on that one. Right, our flower border bed. Really quite coming to life again now. Lots of things starting to grow. These Aquilegia here, which I just adore. And there's some lemon balm there. This is verbascum. That, not sure what that is. I think that's sort of like a sort of a gazania or something like that. Then we've got California poppies. Not much coming up around here, as you can see, but fingers crossed. Feverfew. Look, that little crocus we transplanted. A volunteer crocus, and it's still going. We've got wild chicory, lungwort, which is just glorious and great for bees at this time of year. Some daffs in there. More cotton lavender here, and verbascum and balm, lemon balm. So a lot going on there. Oh, there's another Aquilegia. Love Aquilegias. Oh, and there's one there as well. Yay for the fruit bed, the soft fruit bed. So I sorted this out. It took me a day to sort. So we've got gooseberries in here and a blackcurrant at the end. And I moved the strawberries that were on the strawberry planter into here as well, which allowed me to open up that final bed at the end, that one there, which I think was the final thing in making me realise that I could extend all those beds to the same length. Additional growing space area. Fab. But yeah, so pleased to get this soft fruit bed sorted, and of course just in time. Look, you can see these black currants are budding up, as are, less obviously, the gooseberries. Yes, fabulous. This wild chicory in the path. We strim around this, we just let it grow wild. Then an empty bed, prepped and ready to go. Oh, and then yesterday, I noticed, if I come this angle, can you see in there just about? There's frog spawn in that washing up bowl pond. I mean, just extraordinary. I put this grill over it because that's the washing up bowl that the foxes like to drink out of, so they're going to have to drink out of that one now. More of our brassicas, leaf brassicas. Coming over here, these are young Portuguese cabbage that have overwintered on our bench. 2 larger ones and 4 smaller ones, as you can see. These volunteered themselves in a fellow plot holder's compost heap, so we took them out when they were seedlings and grew them on, which is great. Still need to sort out the wildlife pond under there. This ceanothus will be out very soon, and just above it I need to sort out the rose, more pruning there. And coming round, our direct sown broad beans, these are Bunyard's Exhibition, were really hit by the snow and the cold weather, that biting wind. I mean, really hit. I think next year I'll do like Vivi does. I will net them. I've never netted broad beans before, but I think I will do next year. Yeah. The ones that Vivi direct sowed and netted are just so much stronger than these. I know she has great soil nutritionally, and the broad beans that she has loves that soil, but this is pretty nutritious soil too. And I think doing that bit of netting has helped enormously, particularly with the weight of that snow and that chill wind we had. What Vivi did notice when she was over the other day is that we're beginning to get flowers. Can you see in there? So the broad beans are beginning to flower, or some of them at least. This bed, I need to remove the parsley, Giant of Italy parsley, which has really gone over. And there's only really one that I'm going to leave. And it's this one. It's been a bit more sheltered, and I'm going to leave that one, cut it, clean it up and cut it right back, and let that one go to seed so that I can save seed from it. So that's the Giant of Italy parsley. This is going to have Colleen early potatoes in it, and then next year it'll have parsnips and carrots. Right. In fact, this year it might have autumn king carrots in it after. Oh, a bit of plastic down here. This is a bed that we just sort of leave a bit wild and weed, though it needs a bit of weeding. Marigolds, feverfew, different things. Nothing in these now. Spent compost that can be used elsewhere. The Portuguese cabbage, again, just looking amazing. I mean, you know, when it looks amazing, it looks amazing. And then these are our rose cuttings, which are starting to put on growth. And also, I'm not sure if you can see the new growth on these thornless blackberries, which is fab. So I'll be giving those away. Up here, corn salad, coriander and parsley that we sowed in January. Nothing in the polyanthus yet. Our spring bulbs up here, about to open in the case of these daffs. Portuguese cabbage I still need to pot on and give away, and just various experiments going on there. These 2 beds are now prepped and ready to go, and that buddleia, which is our dark buddleia, I cut down on Sunday, so that's looking good. I also, if you've watched a week at the plot, trimmed this huge buddleia down the side of the Polytunnel, though we need to get up there and take some of that head height off. Not too much, because I still want it to act as a windbreak for the Polytunnel. Right, into the poly. some lettuce growing in here. I think they're Marvel of Four Seasons. Chicory, the red Mizuna here. I think this is a Portuguese cabbage that must have seeded itself in here. Then we've got parsley. At the back there, coriander. And over there is wild rocket in the middle. So all of that's doing fine. Nothing from the broad beans in our highly scientific experiment yet. We have Burpee's iceberg lettuce at the back and Amish deer tongue lettuce in the middle there, which have germinated. Nothing from the Paravere parsley as yet, nor anything from the beetroots, the spring onions, or the Groninger Brussels sprouts. Those were sown, I think, on the 23rd of February, all of this. And nothing from the perpetual spinach, barbette, or the leaf beet either, which is in here. But we do have a lot more seed sowing to happen this month. It's that month that sort of kicks off. I also need to do a big tidy of this area. Yeah, this is where I bare rooted gooseberries. That's what that spent compost is there. I've got those gooseberry cuttings in that terracotta pot in the middle that are going to go to our local orchard trail. They're going to put those out in a soft fruit area they've got. I need to cut back that tub, which has got sedum and various other things in it. The metal bin. Yeah, a lot of tidying. But you know what? That's fine. What I did notice the other day on our old apple tree is this damage in the bark. You see it's split and coming off. So I'm going to be cutting off that limb completely tomorrow, I think. It's an old apple tree. It's pretty wounded. You know, it hadn't been cared for many a year when we came along. And I sort of think it may be reaching the end of its life. So what I'm hoping to do is graft some of these branches. So you can see up here, there's a really, oh, can you see this one here? This really wispy one. In a few, that would be good to do a graft onto a quince root stock. And I've got a couple of other thicker ones on here that I could do that as well. So yeah, that's a job for soon. And our various bench things over there, which are doing fine. I did strim yesterday, so I started the sort of tidy up, the spring tidy up, if you like. I try and keep it as tidy as possible over the winter. But yeah, it always needs that tidy up in spring. I mean, you're constantly tidying with an allotment. I know people think sowing and growing things is easy, but actually it's a process that you need to keep to, and you need to try and keep on top of things. Bread making is another thing that people think is really easy, and actually as long as you get into the process of it and understand the process, it is. But yeah, it's not just stick something in the ground or stick something in the mixer and you've got a new plant and a loaf of bread. You need to have an understanding of what you're doing, I think. I think that's the important thing. And the wonderful thing about many gardening YouTube channels is that they generally teach you well. I mean, there are some that don't, but generally people are taught well. Right, I will leave it there. That's the tour for March. And it will be interesting to see the changes for the tour for April. Hope you're all well. See you soon. And please do watch A Week at the Plot. It's full of useful information of what I'm doing on the plot on any particular day of a week, and obviously the work that I'm doing in that week. And obviously we've got cookery playlists, we've got Sunday chat playlists. Yeah, something for everyone. I think that's true. And yeah, literally. Okay, see you soon. Bye.